KB.
Arlington?
Yes, my brother.
Always early, brother. We say.
You know
You're
that.
good though.
For sure. For sure.
So look, ain't too much you gotta do today.
Right.
I can be with you in a minute, though. I just want to prepare to change down. Sit down and let the people know who you are and how things turn around for you.
Not easy.
Look, you have dark, good and have evil.
Cause this is a different generation, this is a different kind of stereotype generation.
I saw a lot of things at, I would say, trauma.
In the heat of the moment, the adrenaline, I had so much things, I had so much to lose at that time.
Time to change, man. Time to turn around. Time to turn around.
Life wasn't easy for me. I've been through so much that like sometimes I just wonder if it even real then, like if I imagine it, you know? Cause I had it rough from a little boy, you know, and seeing my mom and dad struggle to support children and living the life they were living, that was a roller coaster ride, you know? As a youth, I was mostly by myself because mom and dad were busy trying to get money to survive. So on a lot of occasions, I would be home by myself. You know, the electricity may be off, the water, you know, so I still thank God for my mom because even when we was going through some really, you know, desperate situations, she always tried to give us a joy, give us something to hold on to positively, you know. And I thank God for her because we experienced it, man. I experienced not having, and it didn't feel good as a child, you know. I experienced seeing my mom and dad arguing and the things they were going through. And at that age, some of the things I thought were my fault, you know, because I was like, sure, probably if I wasn't here, probably they wouldn't be, you know, because my birth was a lot of controversy, you know, and it affected me because those who I consider family, those who I came looking to and loving, genuinely had issues with me before I even knew myself. And some people mistake youth for ignorance. They don't know that as a child, we are like sponges. We are so intelligent. We can pick up natural body language. We can pick up the natural you. So even if you smile, even if you say nice things, if it's not in your spirit, if it's not in your heart, a child will pick it up, you know. You know? Some are good at concealing it, but children are very sensitive. And I was feeling that from a little child. I was feeling the rejection. I was feeling the animosity. And I wanted to know where it was coming from because I was small. I didn't do anybody anything wrong, you know? And I just felt I was feeling it. And then seeing, you know, my family in the streets, you know, involved in the drug world, involved with the guns, and you know, I came up seeing it. And even though those who I saw going through it were trying to hammer into me to not go down that same road or to live that same life, I was seeing it and I was experiencing it while being told no. So it was confusing to me as a child because that is how I saw my family surviving. And I did try, honestly, to live a different life.
I remember that day when he left home. I said, Arlington, don't leave. But he said he gotta go. And I remember when he was walking away, I heard a cock crow. And I stood up and I said, oh my God. I felt something coming. And that's the night the whole thing happened. And yes, it it hurt a lot. And then I stopped blaming myself because I figured that I did something wrong. I felt like I failed my child because maybe if I was a bit more this, what did I do? What didn't I do to cause him to go the route? But I remember one time he and I spoke and he had said, Mommy, I want to be able to make money to help you. I and the family. He had this thing that he want to take care of the family. You understand? And I believe he figured that this here was the only way he can go about doing it because it's like the fast way. And as I always tell them or tell anybody, if you're gonna do something, you're gonna get into some, just know the consequences. If you believe you can deal with the consequences, go forward.
Growing up myself, I tried to stay away from certain things, you know, even though I was really what you would consider kind of popular at the time. And I would see certain activities where I'd be concerned about him being out a bit too late or something, or around certain areas where I figured that I wouldn't be comfortable being there too much, you know, myself. And it wouldn't have been too many times that I would have spoken to him about it. It wouldn't have been, to be honest, because I always looked at my little brother as a very intelligent youth, you know, and he always carried himself in a manner that I would never expect anything that I would have to be worried about him too much for him not to handle on his own. So I guess there were only moments where I'd be concerned enough to say something, but not many times where I thought that he would be in danger, to be honest.
So the night of the incident, I was walking on the road and there was a fella who was walking in front of me. And, you know, for some reason, the police came and they were just cruising, you know, and I was just going about my business, just walking. I wasn't really studying them that kind of way. Because I didn't even know who they were at first. I just saw a Jeep coming around the corner. And then the man in front of me just took off, you know, ran off. I was like, okay, yeah. So then that little motion caused I don't know if the people thought I was with him. I don't know why their attention ended up on me, but it did. And the police approached me. And in the approach, he began to use physical force. And I responded, you know, in the heat of the moment, the adrenaline. I had so much to lose at that time. I was thinking about my baby mother, my family. My son was going to be born like the next month. So all these things were coming true. So when I heard that there were police, I was like, shh. And then the confrontation. So we began to struggle, you know. And in the struggle, I saw him reaching for his firearm. So I drew mine. And, you know, gun battle ensued. And he was injured. He was gravely injured. And the other officer who came to his aid, we were in a little altercation as well where she was injured as well. And it was just adrenaline, you know? And when I realized what he did, I was like, shh. I couldn't even believe it. I was in shock because this is not the life that I wanted. I wanted to support my family. I wanted to live a peaceful life. I just didn't want people to unfair me or take my things. So I was defending them. I thought what I was doing was right, but I was dead wrong. You know, because for me to want to do something illegal to gain money, I must expect that it's the police duty to make sure that they bring me to justice.
I was in my bed and I got a call from somebody telling me that, yo, your little brother is in some mess, you know, he's in trouble. And I got up on my bed one time, immediately. I wasn't that far from the area and I headed over to the next gap. I got into one of my friend's vehicles and we headed straight down the road. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't even have much information, obviously, but I just headed straight down towards the area that he was living. And my heart was racing because, to be honest, I always had this feeling in the back of my head that, you know, it could be something that happens because of the environment he's in. And to that day, well, that day was the day that I had to face it, you know. But it was heart-wrenching. It was a lot to deal with when eventually it was, you know, revealed that that's what was the case. But it was a heavy, heavy situation, man. It was probably one of the darkest moments in my life.
I remember when my phone rang. And it tell me this thing happened, and I said, let me get a full story. That's up, so. You know, I'd call. And then by the time the news break, and then I said, nah. But then when I realized that was actually so, I started to understand. That what happens, because people are trying their best, we're all trying our best, but this world is not an easy place. And it's hard, it's been hard coming up. A lot of people, you know, they get over the struggles that is coming up from certain places in a certain time. And it was seeming like Arlie was going to be becoming like a victim to these kind of circumstances. And fortunately, one of the centerpieces in his life was there for him, and that's his mom. And that was the first person, right, who was able to bring solace to the vision that I had of Arlie for the future of what the family had planned for him musically.
When I heard him for the first time, to be honest, seeing him on stage performing, they had something at the prison, and I went out. And I never forget when he got on stage and one of the organizers saw he was looking at me and did me like that. Tell me, come. And he sang a song for Mother. And that's when I really first time heard my son sing. And it did something for me. And I prayed, as I said, I'm a prayer warrior. And I prayed that he would be able to go forward with this. And as I always say, and I always tell him that when you talk about lyrics and things like that when you do certain things, he had this thing within him that he know he did wrong. So he wants to be able to do something, to be able to reach out to maybe to the youth out there, to let them see. You understand? This is what happened to me. Because I always told them, I believe very, very strong. If you're going to talk to young people today don't want to hear you say something and then they look at you and say, oh, you could look at me and tell me something when you ain't even experience it. But when you could look at them and say, been there, done that, it causes them then to come forward and listen or introduce them to someone that has been there. You understand? And I find that because he has in him what he wants to do because of what he's been through, he wants to be able to reach the youth out there with his song, with his lyrics. And that makes me very, very, it makes me happy.
So listen, from when Arlie came out, I got to see him at the gate. It was great. The energy, everybody was all around, family, you know, everybody that was supporting him from the throughout the years when he was on the inside. And the night after, we went to a shop. I had a rhythm I was working on with another producer named Jonathan Charles. And I said, well, you gotta play this, because, you know, we out in thing. And Arlie, fresh out the inside, just ready to jump on, you know, and we there at the shop chilling, and he just started up, and it fit perfectly.
One VA, one Barbados.
One society, you and me. This what you call your own, not on it on your own. It wouldn't be a happy place if you was all alone. You say you love him, you're repping for your zone. Picking to Lena, helping on me for your spotty bone. In every block, every party, every community. Help on the me on the mission for my unity. Let's make the place better than how it used to be. My elder ones be good examples for the used to see. You and me, one Barbados, one village, one family. More positive on the news, less tragedy. One Barbados, one village, one family. More opportunity to do for the majority. One Barbados, one village, one family. We need mothers who deal with love and charity. One Barbados, one village, one family. Equal rights and justice. I hope you're pitching in and not just listening. We need more action, let's talk, brethren and sistering. You have your big old star, shoes that glistening. Do you look out for the homeless in the cold biting and blistering? Beautiful boys and girls, these will not be influenced by violence in the world. I vow to protect, to teach you right from wrong, black, white, Asian, Indian, Latin. We still want one Barbados, one village, one family. More opportunity to for the majority. One Barbados, one village, one family. More positive on the news and less tragedy. One Barbados, one village, one family. We need role models who deal with love and charity. One Barbados, one village, one family. Equal rights and justice.
I am extremely proud of Arlie. I'm proud of Arlie because, you know, I'm at this age now, you know, people that went through things. And I was able, through a government project, to work in the prison with inmates during the time when Arlie was inside. So we were still able to work inside. And thank you to Mikey Holzmeyer for providing that opportunity.
Around 2015, I was asked if I would like to come up to the prison and do a music project. So straight off, I said, yes, of course, I would be interested. But we then had to work out what kind of shape that would take. So it was decided that we would do a songwriting and recording project where we would get together, we would write songs for a period of time, period of weeks, and then we would start to record these songs as time went along. So that's basically what we did. The guys would listen to, I got beats submitted from different producers in Barbados, and then we put all these beats on some mini MP3 players so that the guys could listen to them during our sessions, which used to be like, we used to do two of them, we used to do twice a week at like 3 o'clock in the evening, you know, 3 to 5 and stuff like that. So they would get together and listen to these tracks and write songs to the tracks. So that's basically how it started. It then, you know, took on a different shape, which we just went with the flow. The ultimate thing was to record songs and have songs that we could release to the radio. Also songs that we could take to NIFCA and take part in NIFCA. The prison had always done drama. They'd always been a part of NIFCA with poetry and art and all different kinds of things, but not much to do with music, you know, on a serious level. So we managed to achieve a lot of that with pretty much no resources. It was volunteer. I took some of my friends, some colleagues in the industry from time to time, and basically it was down to the enthusiasm of the residents at Dodds to keep it going and to keep me, you know, interested and to keep me going, which they always did, and they were very inspiring, and they still are up to this day. And that is where I met Arlington. I actually met Arlington in 2015. There was a culture show that was put on, and that was the first time I went there, because the intention was to have me come and do this program. So they invited me to the culture show. Arlie was on it, and he did a song. I think it was called No Strike 3 for me, or something like that. It was to do with, you know, he wasn't about going back to prison again, you know. And I'll tell you, from then till now, he has come a really long way. That is what? That is 2015 and 9 years ago. That's 9 years ago. He's come a long way, you know. He's continued to work on it. And he's worked really hard. So, you know, that's when I met him, and our association continued right through the program, and all through the years that he was there. And to see where he's reached at this point, makes me really proud. Makes me really, really proud. And I always said to him, you know, your dedication is what's going to carry you. Just remember, there's a tough old business. You know, you're not going to leave prison and come home and jump into a hugely successful music career. Probably won't happen that way. So I think he took all that in and, you know, found himself a little job when he left prison. And I always told him, make sure you have a little money coming in. Try not to depend solely on the music as soon as you get home, because you may get dejected and disappointed and, you know, give up on it or whatever, you know, through necessity. So he's taken that advice. He probably had that in his head anyway, you know. The guy is a smart guy. And to see where he's at, I think this must be about 5 months since he left jail. To see where he's at now, I think he's on a really good path. You know, it's just a matter of trying to get the music up and going, and he does seem to have quite a bit of support. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. One of the things that impressed me the most about Arlington and the guys that were involved in the project is that they kept the ball rolling all through COVID as best they could. And they would call me any chance they got and say, Mike, we just want you to know that when you come back, we still working. We writing songs all the time. And I know how difficult it is sometimes up there to be doing stuff, because it's like a little city, right? And there's all kinds of things happening all the time. So you add a pandemic into the mix, it's going to become a lot more difficult. You've got strain on resources when it comes to officers and stuff like that. And then you've got, you know, limited movement because of the pandemic, same as we had out here. And these guys just kept doing it. Whenever they had an opportunity to go over to the education department and work on this stuff, they would do that. They would do it on their own, you know, on their blocks or whatever. And they would always call me and say, we writing, Mike, we writing, right? And I wasn't there. There's no real facility for me to hear what was happening. It's just a phone call. And if you know, to call from prison costs money, you know, so it's a short call. Man, just let me know. We still going. And when I eventually went back, I was blown away by the amount that they had done. And they weren't kidding, you know, they were working. It was two of them actually. It was Arlington and a guy named Dion Maynard, and they kept working. And when the peace program got in contact with me late last year, it was just before the NIFCA entries closed. And I asked, well, because I had now come back in and they had been doing some stuff, the peace project. And, you know, I said, you guys are aware that prison goes to NIFCA to do music, right? We had been there. We've won awards and all that already. Both the males and the females, we had songs and stuff. And they were like, okay, but you know, when did the entries close? Do you have any? Can you recommend anyone? I said, well, I only got one man, but it's better than no one, and because we need to start this going again. And I said, is Arlington Daniel, and you know, Tyrell Giles from the peace program jumped on it straight away and said, all right, let's make it happen. And Arlie was real excited about that, as was Dion, and he wasn't even going, but you know, for Arlington, and they were working on these songs together. So that whole process, going to the rehearsal and going to the preliminary down at the Steel Shed, and then him making the finals and going to rehearse with a band at the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre, And to see him interact now with musicians and stuff, because I had never seen that before. You know, you don't know what you're gonna get. The guy has never really worked with a band or anything like that. So I just sat there in awe, you know, and then he asked the guys if they could play an Afro beat, and they started to play this thing, and then he started to sing, and they found the chords to what he was working with. And he kind of just, this is a song that he had been working on before, but he kind of jammed it with the band. And I said, man, Arlington really has come a long way, you know, and he ended up going, he won a bronze medal, he won Best Original Piece. Of course, I can be biased and say that he should have won a gold because I saw the performance that night. I don't know what the other people were looking at, but I said to him, the Best Original Piece is better than gold. Trust me, better than gold. And, you know, from there, and I had to tell him, I said, Artie, you just kick back open the gate. Because there was a situation where in 2019, they stopped the residents of Dodds from performing for the public, which I thought was a huge backward step. And because of the guys from the peace program, and I explained that to them, he was allowed to go and perform for the public, which is this is the whole purpose of performers want to perform for the public, right? I don't know what happened there, but anyway, he was able to go, and the support that he got from staff at the prison and all that was amazing. I mean, I wasn't there the night. I was actually on a on a soca cruise, and they called me from the dressing room, you know, and I saw all these officers there, and I was like, wow, that's absolutely incredible. The superintendent was in attendance, you know, and to me that was huge. I said, Artie, you don't know what you've done here, right? You've done this for all the other guys now to follow, and hopefully, you know, this year we'll be able to get a few more. I was involved in an accident, and I haven't been there since December. I'm hoping to go back this week to see what we have, and I know that Dion is still there working away on the music. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen, but Arlington really kick-started it last year after the whole COVID situation and all that.
I see no limit when it comes to Arlie in this career as a musician, as an artist. I see no limit for him. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his brother. What I'm seeing in him and his story is so unique and it's so special. He's probably going to be one of the greatest artists that have left this space. I say so, definitely.
I am proud of him to see what he's doing with his life, considering what he came from, what he did, to see that he's taken it and putting it into a positive, putting it in a positive way to use what he went through, that journey he's been through, to use it to try to help the youth out there not to go through that particular journey he's been through. You understand? And if he can do that, and he believes very strong that he can do it with his music, with his singing, I tell him, go for it, darling. Go for it. And I hear putting in my prayers for you. You understand? And that time when he also performed at NIFCA with his song Los Barbados. And I saw my son up there performing that song. I saw how the people responded. I say, yes, dear God, this is the beginning. And I just pray, oh my God, water coming to my eyes, okay? I just pray that God allow me to be around to see he actually succeed in doing what he really wants to do by helping as many of the young ones out there he can. And by helping them, he's helping the parents too, in a sense. You understand? Because if he could cause a child to turn around in a positive way, that means so much to a parent. To see the child decide to walk another route instead of the route they were going before.
Yokes, the struggle is real. I understand because I've been through it. Lord knows I've been through it. And for us to go through these things and then just live and die without really, tapping in to our talents, our abilities, our gifts, our tags, it is not worth it. And these distractions and wanting things now, right now, I know how that feels because I came up lacking. So I know how it feels to want. I know how it feels to want to support those who you love and make them smile. And because of that, I was hasty. And through hastiness, through not taking time to be patient and think about my situation, it caused me to fall in the trap. I don't want the youths to fall in the trap. The same trap they fall into. Because y'all don't need to be there. There's hope for us. There's hope for you. Because where you need to be right now is focusing on what is best for you, where it comes to your talent, where it comes to your abilities, where it comes to your gifts, where it comes to education. Because it says, woe to a righteous man who lacks knowledge. So that means you could have good intentions, but if you're ignorant to life, then you're going to fall down. So building wisdom, reading books, gaining knowledge, all these things will help you to tap into who you are and what you would like to do with your life. And I know that some of the greatest people in the world, they've been through struggles, had it hard, faced adversity from young ages, and battled. I made mistakes, but our life is like a roadmap for you to reflect on what we went through. I know like you, somebody went through something hard like me, boy, that we could relate to he, or we could, so you're not alone. So it's up to us now to live it, not just to talk pretty. Like I could say that I change, but my life must be an example for you. If not, I'm just being a hypocrite. I just talking hot here, right? I love every youth out there in Barbados and the world, and they want the best for all the women. So just watch and see what's going on, man. I can walk it, I ain't gonna talk it.
One Barbados, one village, one family. More opportunity to do for the majority. One Barbados, one village, one family. We need women who deal with love and charity. One Barbados, one village, one family. Equal rights and justice.
Look, you have dark, and good and have evil.
Because there's a different generation, there's a different kind of stereotype generation.
I saw a lot of things at, I would say, trauma.
In the heat of the moment, the adrenaline, I had so much things, I had so much to lose at that time.
Time to change, man. Time to turn around. Time to turn around.